Let me tell you something. Not everything about you should be open for the world to read, especially not for a man to measure, predict, or control. A powerful woman knows the art of mystery. She understands that silence can protect what words might destroy. Because the moment you become an open book, someone out there will start rewriting your story. You don't owe anyone full access to your emotions, your plans, or your pain. What makes a woman truly magnetic, truly unshakable, is not what she shows. It's what she chooses to keep hidden. A woman's emotional vulnerability is not a weakness. It is her private power. Too often, people believe that showing feelings is the same as losing control. But true strength is far more subtle than that. It is the ability to feel deeply, to experience the highs and the lows, and still choose what you reveal to the world. There is immense power in deciding when and to whom you expose your emotions. The person who understands this knows that once someone sees how deeply they can affect her, that knowledge becomes a tool. It can be used to manipulate, to pressure, or to diminish her. But when a woman guards her heart with dignity, she maintains control over her world. She decides the timing, the measure, and the place for vulnerability. Emotions are a language, and like any language, they must be spoken with intention. The world does not owe anyone access to the inner workings of your soul. Tears, heartbreak, frustration, they are yours to process, yours to honor, and yours to keep until you are ready to share them on your terms. There is elegance in restraint. There is strength in calmness. When someone tries to provoke you, to see you unravel, the power lies in your ability to remain steady. You do not need to prove your feelings or justify your reactions. Remaining unshaken does not mean you are unfeeling. It means you are unbroken. Understanding your emotional boundaries is a form of self-respect. It is a declaration that no one else has the right to play with the most intimate parts of who you are. Every reaction you give, every glance you offer, carries weight. By controlling what is visible, you create a space where your power thrives, untouched by judgment, immune to manipulation, and free from unnecessary interference. People will test you, push buttons, and challenge your composure. But it is in your choice to maintain grace and discretion that your true strength is revealed. You cannot control how others act, but you can control what they see and how it affects you. The essence of this power is subtle, almost invisible, yet unmistakable in its effect. Others will sense it, even if they cannot name it. There is a magnetic quality in a woman who feels deeply, but never allows her emotions to dictate her every move. She does not collapse under pressure. She does not hand over her peace to someone else's hands. Instead, she channels her feelings into clarity, strategy, and purpose. Her vulnerability is not absent. It is carefully protected, cultivated, and leveraged to shape her life rather than undermine it. By keeping her emotional depth private, she commands respect without having to demand it. Ultimately, a woman who understands the private power of her emotions knows that showing too much can invite unnecessary interference, but hiding them entirely is not the goal either. It is a delicate balance, a quiet mastery, a deliberate act of self-preservation. Emotional control is not about denial, it is about sovereignty. It is the knowledge that her heart is hers first, that her peace is untouchable, and that no one's reaction will define her. The calm she projects, even in the face of turmoil, becomes her signature strength, and that is a power that no one, no matter how close, can ever take away. A woman's plans are hers alone, and there is a quiet power in keeping them private. The world will constantly try to demand explanations, predictions, or previews of what you are about to do. But the truth is, every step you take toward your future is sacred, and it should never be shared before it is ready to be revealed. When you announce your next move, you hand over a part of your control. People will react, judge, or even try to manipulate your path before you've had the chance to see it through. Silence, on the other hand, keeps your intentions yours. It allows your actions to unfold naturally, untainted by outside influence. Mystery is not about deceit. It is about protecting the energy, time, and effort you have invested in your growth. There is a subtle elegance in moving without announcing, in letting your results speak louder than words ever could. The world is full of distractions, opinions, and voices that will try to sway your direction if given the opportunity. By keeping your plans to yourself, you remove unnecessary interference and maintain a clarity of purpose. Predictability is a vulnerability. When others can anticipate your next step, they can control your pace, your decisions, and even your confidence. But unpredictability creates respect. It commands attention not through force, but through a quiet, undeniable presence. People notice those who move deliberately, yet mysteriously, because there is a sense that they are in the presence of someone who understands their own value and refuses to bend to external expectations. Keeping your plans private is also a form of self-discipline. It requires patience and restraint, qualities that cannot be faked. Waiting for the right moment to reveal your work, to share your progress, or to announce your achievements is a test of character. A woman who masters this art becomes untouchable in subtle ways. She does not need approval, validation, or recognition in advance. She trusts the process, she trusts herself, and she trusts the timing of her own life. Each step taken in silence is a declaration that she moves with intention, not reaction. Her actions are calculated, her results inevitable. The power of secrecy is not meant to isolate, it is meant to protect. Every plan kept close, every intention unspoken, allows space for creativity, strategy, and authenticity to flourish without interference. It keeps envy, doubt, and sabotage at bay. Those who are ready to see the results will witness them, and those who are not will be left wondering, intrigued by the quiet strength of a woman who does not need to broadcast her life to command respect. There is an art to this. The art of moving unseen, yet leaving a trace that others cannot ignore. Ultimately, keeping your next move private is a statement about self-respect and sovereignty. It says, without words, that your life is your own, your ambitions are yours to realize, and your success does not require permission or pre-approval. Every silent step taken builds momentum. Every unseen action accumulates strength, and every result, when revealed, carries the weight of intentional mastery. A woman who understands this becomes magnetic, not because she flaunts her journey, but because she preserves it. The world may not always know what she is planning, but it will feel the power of every move she makes. And that power, carefully guarded, is unstoppable. True strength is rarely loud, and it is rarely seen in moments of chaos. It is found in the quiet, steady presence of a woman who moves through life with grace, no matter what storms surround her. Grace is not weakness. It is power refined, honed through patience, experience, and self-respect. A woman who understands this does not need to prove her strength through force or loud declarations. Instead, she lets her composure speak for her. There is something magnetic about a person who can remain poised when everything around them seems to fall apart. It is in that calm, deliberate control that others recognize strength without needing to see it displayed in a conventional way. Composure is not simply the absence of emotion, it is mastery over it. Life will challenge, provoke, and test every limit, and those who underestimate a woman's capacity often do so because they mistake her grace for fragility. They do not realize that calmness under pressure requires tremendous courage and discipline. When a woman moves with poise, she communicates a silent but powerful message. She is unshakable, she is in control, and she will not be defined by the chaos around her. Grace becomes her shield, her armor, and her strategy, disarming anyone who expects her to falter or break. There is a distinct difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is impulsive, raw, and often exposes vulnerabilities. Responding with grace, however, demonstrates intelligence, strategy, and foresight. A woman who has cultivated this ability does not allow provocations, insults, or criticism to control her behavior. Instead, she acknowledges, she assesses, and she responds in a way that maintains her dignity and reinforces her strength. This is the power that others cannot take away, and it is the power that turns observers into believers. People respect composure because it signals self-mastery, and true self-mastery is a form of influence that cannot be taught or faked. Grace also carries an invisible authority. It commands attention not because it is loud, but because it is consistent. Those who watch closely see that every step, every word, every movement is deliberate and intentional. It is the contrast between chaos and calm that makes this strength so undeniable. While others may panic, overreact, or seek validation, a woman with grace simply stands firm, allowing the energy around her to settle or shift according to her will. She does not need to dominate the room. She naturally becomes its center through the quiet, unwavering confidence that radiates from her presence. Ultimately, true strength hidden behind grace is the understanding that power is most effective when controlled and refined. It is the knowledge that composure under pressure is not just admirable, it is strategic. A woman who possesses this does not need to prove herself to anyone. Her poise is her signature. Her actions speak louder than her words, and her calmness commands respect without asking for it. People will test her, life will challenge her, and yet she will move through each trial with dignity intact. And in that quiet mastery, in that elegant control, she reveals to the world a form of strength that cannot be matched, underestimated, or ignored. There is a quiet power in knowing your own triggers and keeping them guarded. Every person has things that cut deeper than others, memories or insecurities that can shake the ground beneath them if exposed. But a woman who understands herself knows that revealing these vulnerabilities is like handing someone the keys to her inner fortress. Once they know what hurts you, how easily you can be provoked, or what shadows follow you, they hold a tool of influence over your life. Emotional triggers are personal. They belong to you alone, and keeping them private is an act of strength, not deception. The world is full of people who will test your boundaries, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unconsciously. Those who know your triggers can manipulate, pressure, or undermine you, whether for amusement, control, or gain. By keeping your most sensitive points to yourself, you remove that possibility. You create a space where your decisions are your own, where your reactions are authentic and deliberate, rather than reflexive and coerced. Emotional transparency is not inherently bad, but indiscriminate sharing is dangerous. Strength lies in discernment, in knowing when and to whom you can reveal your heart without compromising your power. Guarding your weaknesses is not about hiding your humanity. It is about protecting your narrative, preserving your dignity, and choosing the battles worth engaging. Every scar, every wound, every past heartbreak tells a story, but that story does not belong to anyone else unless you choose to share it. By holding back your emotional triggers, you maintain autonomy over your responses. You control how deeply the world touches you, and that control is a form of invisible strength. People may not always see it, but they feel it. They recognize a woman who cannot be easily shaken because she has mastered the art of self-possession. Understanding and controlling your emotional triggers also cultivates resilience. When you know your vulnerabilities, you can navigate challenges with intention instead of reaction. You can anticipate situations that might provoke you and choose whether to engage, to stay silent, or to redirect the energy into something productive. This mastery over self creates an aura of calm authority. People who might try to unsettle you will find no cracks in the armor of composure. They will realize that the power they hope to claim through your pain is no longer theirs to take. Ultimately, keeping your triggers private is a declaration of self-respect. It says, without words, that your heart, your pain, and your history are yours to manage, not theirs to exploit. A woman who guards her emotional triggers does not live in fear of being hurt. She lives in command of her life, her responses, and her dignity. Her strength is not flashy, but it is unshakable. Her presence is magnetic because it is rooted in control, not reaction. Every smile she gives, every calm word she speaks, carries the weight of a woman who understands her own power, a woman who knows that what she protects is priceless, and a woman who will never allow anyone to hold sway over what is hers alone. Financial independence is one of the most understated yet powerful forms of strength a woman can possess. It is not about flaunting wealth or proving status. It is about self-reliance, security, and freedom. A woman who controls her own finances does not live at the mercy of anyone else's decisions or whims. She does not need to ask, beg, or justify her choices because she knows that the foundation of her life is built on her own preparation and foresight. This kind of independence is invisible armor, protecting her from situations where dependence could become a form of vulnerability or manipulation. Keeping your financial life private is not secrecy for secrecy's sake. It is strategy. When others are unaware of your savings, your investments, or your plans, they cannot leverage them to influence you. Money, like emotions, is a source of power, and sharing it carelessly or prematurely can shift the balance of relationships and expectations. A woman who guards her financial independence maintains control over her life, ensuring that her value, decisions, and ambitions remain her own. She can act from a place of freedom, not obligation, and that freedom alone makes her presence commanding and respected. Preparation is key. Independence does not come from luck. It comes from discipline, vision, and planning. A woman who invests in herself, builds a safety net, and sets personal goals is laying the groundwork for resilience in all areas of life. Whether it is a career move, a personal project, or a sudden challenge, she has the means to navigate it on her own terms. Others may see only the calm, composed exterior, unaware of the months, years, or decades of planning, sacrifice, and foresight that make her life secure. That quiet preparation is the source of true power. It is the guarantee that her life cannot be derailed by reliance on someone else. Financial independence also fosters confidence and self-respect. A woman who knows she can support herself, make her own decisions, and meet her own needs radiates an energy that cannot be manufactured. She is not intimidated by uncertainty, nor does she tolerate being undervalued or controlled. Her choices are guided by her own standards, not by the limitations imposed by others. In every interaction, every relationship, and every opportunity, she carries the strength of self-sufficiency, making her untouchable in subtle, undeniable ways. Ultimately, keeping your financial independence private is a declaration of sovereignty. It communicates that your life, your security, and your choices belong to you first and foremost. A woman who masters this does not have to prove herself. Her power is visible in the calm decisiveness, the self-assured presence, and the freedom with which she navigates the world. Money becomes not just a resource, but a symbol of her autonomy, a shield that protects her dreams, her dignity, and her future. And in this quiet mastery, she becomes an unstoppable force, capable of standing tall in any situation, free from dependence, and always prepared for what comes next. Life is unpredictable, and chaos is inevitable. Everyone experiences moments when the weight of the world feels unbearable, when everything inside is unraveling and the storms of circumstance threaten to consume you. But a woman who understands her strength knows that her inner turmoil does not need to be broadcast. There is power in concealing the chaos, in presenting a composed exterior, even when the inside is turbulent. This is not about denial or pretending to be unaffected. It is about maintaining control over what others perceive. By hiding her chaos, a woman chooses the narrative of her life rather than allowing it to be dictated by circumstance or the expectations of others. The world often judges what it can see, and it rarely has the patience to understand the layers beneath the surface. When a woman remains calm in the midst of chaos, she projects stability, authority, and resilience. People are drawn to her presence because composure is magnetic. It signals that she is not easily shaken, that she has command over herself, and that she will navigate any challenge without succumbing to panic or despair. The storms she faces may be raging behind closed doors, but the way she carries herself in public communicates confidence and unyielding strength. Hiding chaos behind composure is also a form of self-preservation. When emotions run wild and struggles are exposed indiscriminately, they can be weaponized against you. Gossip, judgment, and manipulation often thrive in the presence of visible vulnerability. By controlling what is shown and what is kept private, a woman ensures that she remains untouchable in the ways that matter most. She chooses her battles carefully, engages when necessary, and preserves her energy for the moments that truly count. Her calm becomes her credibility. People trust her judgment because she is unflappable, even when circumstances are far from perfect. Composure is not a static state. It is a practice, a discipline, and a mindset. It requires emotional intelligence and self-awareness to acknowledge the chaos without allowing it to control your actions. A woman who has mastered this does not react impulsively. She observes, she reflects, and she responds deliberately. Even in situations designed to provoke or destabilize her, she maintains clarity, choosing words and actions that reinforce her power rather than diminish it. In doing so, she teaches the world that strength is not measured by how loudly one can assert themselves, but by the ability to remain poised while navigating life's most challenging moments. Ultimately, hiding chaos behind composure is about control, dignity, and resilience. It is about understanding that your internal struggles do not define your external authority. A woman who embodies this quiet mastery sends a message without speaking. She is unshakable, intentional, and sovereign over her life. She may break, she may struggle, but the world sees only the calm, collected, and capable version of herself. And that perception is her shield. Her inner storms become a source of strength rather than weakness, and her composure becomes the proof of her power, the silent testament to her resilience, and the unspoken command that she alone determines the narrative of her life. Dreams are fragile when exposed too early. They are vulnerable to doubt, criticism, and the unintended influence of others. A woman who understands her worth knows that sharing her vision before it is fully formed is like leaving a door open to those who would manipulate, discourage, or even steal it. Guarding your dreams is not about secrecy for secrecy's sake. It is about protection. It is about giving your aspirations the space to grow, the freedom to evolve, and the time to become unstoppable before the world has the chance to weigh in. When a woman keeps her dreams close, she controls their trajectory and preserves the energy required to bring them to life. Every idea, every goal, and every ambition carries immense potential, but it is also susceptible to doubt from those who do not understand your journey. People often respond to dreams with fear, skepticism, or projection. They may unintentionally undermine your confidence, or worse, try to redirect your energy toward their comfort zone. A woman who guards her dreams knows that the world's opinions are irrelevant until the dream becomes tangible. She understands that showing results rather than intentions is what earns respect. Her success, when revealed, speaks louder than any explanation or promise ever could. By waiting, she allows her work to build its own proof of value. The discipline of protecting your vision requires patience and resilience. It means working tirelessly behind the scenes, cultivating skills, gathering knowledge, and refining ideas without seeking validation at every step. It requires trust in yourself when no one else does, and faith in the process when immediate recognition is absent. A woman who embraces this approach is not secretive because she fears connection. She is strategic because she understands that premature exposure can derail the very path she has carefully designed. Every quiet effort, every unseen hour of work accumulates momentum toward a moment that will be undeniable. Guarding your dreams also means setting boundaries with those around you. Not everyone deserves to witness your journey, and not every opinion holds weight. By choosing carefully whom to confide in, you protect not just your ideas, but also your energy. Distractions, doubts, and unsolicited advice can dilute focus and erode motivation. A woman who protects her vision prioritizes her inner circle, her resources, and her time, recognizing that her dreams are sacred until they are ready to be revealed. She is not hiding out of fear. She is defending the life she is creating with intention. Ultimately, keeping your dreams private until they are realized is an act of empowerment. It is a declaration that your vision, your effort, and your ambition are yours to nurture first and foremost. By waiting for the right moment, by working silently, and by sharing results rather than promises, a woman transforms potential into achievement. She ensures that when her dreams emerge, they are fully formed, powerful, and undeniable. The world sees not just what she imagined, but what she accomplished with discipline, patience, and unwavering commitment. In this way, guarding her dreams is not just protection, it is the strategy of a woman who knows her power, her worth, and her ultimate destiny. There is a subtle but undeniable difference between strength and strategy. Strength can be admired, respected, and even feared, but strategy is sacred. A woman who understands this knows that her power does not need to be hidden, but the blueprint of how she wields it must remain private. Let others see what you can do. Let them witness your capabilities, but never let them understand the mechanics behind your moves. Strategy, like a carefully laid trap, is most effective when invisible. When your plan is concealed, your strength becomes unstoppable, and every step you take carries precision rather than chance. The world often confuses visibility with vulnerability. Many believe that sharing intentions is a way to prove transparency or earn trust. But the truth is, once others see the architecture of your moves, they can interfere, manipulate, or undermine you. A woman who guards her strategy ensures that her power cannot be predicted or stolen. By keeping her plans private, she maintains freedom, the freedom to pivot, to respond, and to win on her own terms. People may admire her strength, but they cannot control her path or dictate her outcomes. That autonomy, that invisible control, is what makes her truly formidable. There is elegance in this kind of discipline. Strength is tangible. Strategy is intangible. A woman who displays strength while hiding strategy projects confidence and competence without ever revealing the tools that make her powerful. Her victories appear effortless because no one sees the calculation, the patience, or the foresight that led to them. This creates an aura of mastery that cannot be challenged or diminished. People respect what they cannot fully understand, and in keeping her plans private, she ensures that respect remains intact. Her silence is not ignorance, it is intentional, deliberate, and strategic. Mastering the art of hiding your strategy requires patience and clarity. It demands understanding that every conversation, every move, and every reaction can either reveal or protect your plan. A woman who has mastered this skill knows when to speak and when to hold back, when to act visibly and when to operate in quiet. She understands that unpredictability is power, and that keeping the mechanics of her approach private creates leverage in all aspects of life. She is untouchable because even those closest to her cannot anticipate the full extent of her influence. Ultimately, hiding your strategy while revealing your strength is a declaration of sovereignty. It is saying to the world that your abilities are real, your power is undeniable, and your results will speak for themselves. By maintaining the mystery of how you achieve, you preserve your freedom, protect your goals, and cultivate respect that cannot be demanded. It must be earned. Strength without strategy can be admired, but strength paired with concealed strategy is unstoppable. Every visible action becomes a signal of mastery, every success a testament to your careful, deliberate control. In this way, a woman moves through the world not just as capable, but as someone whose power is respected, her influence unassailable, and her victories inevitable. Desperation is visible, even when words are carefully chosen. It shows in the way we chase, the way we over-explain, and the way we bend ourselves to fit someone else's expectations. A woman who understands her power knows that neediness is a form of surrender. It hands over control of your heart, your decisions, and your peace to someone else. Seeking validation or attention from others may feel comforting in the moment, but it comes at a cost: the subtle erosion of self-respect. True strength comes from being whole within yourself, from knowing your worth without needing constant affirmation from others. Love is often mistaken for possession, and attention is often mistaken for approval. But a woman who refuses to display desperation sees beyond these illusions. She does not beg to be noticed. She does not plead to be appreciated. and she does not compromise her dignity to earn affection. She understands that her value is intrinsic, not negotiated, and that the right people will recognize it without coaxing. By not showing need, she preserves her independence and ensures that her relationships are built on respect, not dependence. This subtle, silent strength commands more loyalty and admiration than any overt display of desire ever could. The world rewards confidence, not craving. Desperation makes one predictable, malleable, and, in many ways, replaceable. When a woman moves with quiet assurance, she becomes magnetic. Her presence alone is enough to inspire curiosity, respect, and genuine attention. She is not performing for validation, she is living authentically. Desire, when paired with dignity, is a force that elevates rather than diminishes. It allows her to pursue what she wants without losing herself in the process, to express affection without surrendering her autonomy, and to build connections without creating dependency. This balance of longing and self-possession is the hallmark of emotional intelligence and unshakable strength. A woman who has mastered this understands that rejection or indifference from others does not define her worth. She knows that people will come and go, but her value is consistent and immutable. Desperation makes one vulnerable to manipulation, but self-sufficiency creates boundaries that cannot be crossed. By refusing to show need, she protects herself from exploitation and ensures that her energy is reserved for people and situations that deserve it. This is not coldness, it is sovereignty. It is the quiet assertion that she cannot be played, replaced, or diminished by someone else's inattention. Ultimately, never showing desperation for love, attention, or validation is about mastery of self. It is about standing firm in your worth, moving with intention, and engaging with the world from a place of abundance rather than lack. A woman who embodies this radiates confidence, independence, and magnetic strength. She does not seek to fill voids through others because she is complete within herself. Her love, her presence, and her attention are gifts, not obligations, and that distinction makes her untouchable. The world may try to sway her, test her patience, or demand proof of her worth, but she remains unwavering. She is whole, she is powerful, and she is undeniable. Silence is a language that few understand, but those who do recognize its power instantly. Words can be misinterpreted, debated, or dismissed, but silence carries weight that is undeniable. A woman who has mastered the art of silence knows that she does not always need to explain, justify, or react. Her calm presence communicates strength, confidence, and control in ways that words often fail to achieve. Sometimes, the mere act of withholding response is louder than any argument or declaration. It forces others to pause, to reflect, and to consider their own behavior. Choosing silence over reaction requires discipline and patience. It is easy to respond impulsively, to speak in defense, or to try to convince others of your position. But a woman who understands the power of quiet knows that restraint is strength. She recognizes that reacting in haste often gives away more than intended, while measured silence preserves dignity and authority. In moments where emotions run high and words may inflame or complicate, she remains composed. Her silence is deliberate, a subtle assertion that she is neither controlled nor unsettled by the chaos or pressure around her. Silence also creates space for observation. When a woman refrains from speaking unnecessarily, she is able to see clearly the intentions, motivations, and weaknesses of those around her. She understands that people reveal more in the absence of her commentary than they ever would in her presence. By listening, watching, and holding back, she gathers insight that becomes a tool for strategy, decision-making, and personal growth. Her quietude is not emptiness. It is intentional presence, a conscious exercise of power that shapes interactions without the need for confrontation. There is a profound elegance in using silence as a response. It communicates more than words can ever convey. A well-timed silence can unsettle arrogance, shift dynamics, and demand respect without aggression. It shows that a woman's worth is not measured by how much she speaks, but by the weight of her presence, the depth of her understanding, and the clarity of her intentions. People are drawn to those who do not over-explain themselves because there is confidence in self-possession, and silence signals that she is complete within herself. Ultimately, understanding the power of silence is about mastering perception and influence. It is the knowledge that your presence, your calm, and your restraint can speak volumes without ever uttering a word. A woman who wields silence intentionally is untouchable in ways that are subtle yet profoundly impactful. She does not need to justify her actions or defend her worth because her quiet confidence communicates it more effectively than any argument. In a world that often equates noise with power, choosing silence becomes the ultimate act of control, a demonstration that she is not swayed by chaos, pressure, or expectation. Her quiet strength commands attention, fosters respect, and ensures that her narrative is hers alone. In this mastery of silence, she is both seen and unshakable, and the world cannot ignore her presence.